In progress. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. KW Commercial SoCal Zoom on the Zoom. First of all, let me just say thank you to whoever was able to attend our KW Commercial Networking mixer. We had a private SoFi tour. Some of you have been there. That was a fun experience. You know, it's like I call it the modern time Coliseum, right? Like you're in the arena. And I mean, first of all, you know, it's still the the world champions, right? Arena as of well, used to be, sorry, as of a few weeks ago. But whatever, LA people was going to be the champion of the world. And it was fun to be on the field and, you know, kick some balls and score some touchdowns with the guys and girls of the commercial. So thank you guys for being there. That was a very special experience. Having said that, we got a chance to hang out with the 10X, which I love the name, 10X peeps. And we have today one of their representative, Julian Curry. And Julian, give us, you know, first of all, thank you guys. That was awesome to spend some time with you over there. Tell us about yourself and and just give us the rundown about 10X.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll dive in, but again, just let me offer my thank you to yourself and Kim. An amazing event. Definitely set the bar very high for 2023. So everybody else who follows suits behind KW, they've got to bring it. But we had an amazing time. Quick fact about myself for everybody who's online: I successfully kicked a 15-yard field goal at SoFi Stadium. And so I'm living the dream. I'm never letting that down. I will never kick another field goal because I'm one for two right now, which is good enough for me. But as Meny stated, I'm an account executive over here at 10X. We are a live bid auction commercial real estate platform owned by CoStar and partnered with LoopNet. We essentially are a broker, marketing, and transaction tool. If I can, I'll begin to just kind of share some information and give you a little bit of background on 10X and myself. Is that okay to do right now, Kim and Meny?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, I think you can share screen, and Kim is going to drop me from the spotlight, so they're only going to see you.
Got it here. So I'll go ahead. Let me know when you guys are seeing my screen here.
Yeah.
Got me? Good. All right. I'll jump into presentation mode and we'll kick it off. So again, Julian Curry, based here in LA in the downtown Los Angeles office. I'm actually here in the CoStar office. So if you've been downtown to 777 Fig, that's where I'm located at. And again, I am an account executive for our commercial real estate platform, auction platform that is named 10X. Again, that is owned by CoStar and partnered with LoopNet. Essentially what we are is a broker, marketing, and transaction tool to help you facilitate faster and more certain transactions. And so definitely, if you have an opportunity, take down some of my contact information. I will share that at the end, as well as this deck. So feel free to kind of be engaged and ask as many questions as you like. I really want you guys to leave this conversation with a good understanding of who 10X is, what we do, and where you might find value in deploying us as you're working on, you know, trying to land commercial real estate business, or you're working on listings right now that, you know, could benefit from a partnership with 10X. And so that's going to be the basis of our conversation. Here's a high level of kind of some of the points we'll discuss. And again, I'll be brief in a lot of the fluff. I really want to spend the time talking about our process and, again, some of the results that we've achieved, because I think that's what's going to resonate with you most and your clients. So to that end, let's dive right in. As you're thinking about 10X and who we are and what we do, right? If you've never experienced us online, I would suggest go over to 10x.com. That's TEN-X.com, and just peruse some of the assets that we have on our platform. We are a free platform to utilize in terms of, you know, finding deals, listing deals. We're free service to listing brokers and listing agents. But as you are hunting deals, as you're working on, you know, talking to sellers in 2023, as you're working on, you know, your assets that you might already have on your portfolio right now for 2023, here are the key kind of points, pain points, if you will, that you really want to kind of focus on. And if these arise, that's going to be a quick signal to you that 10X is going to be a valuable partner to you in that regard. It's one, speed. Our entire process is list to close in under 100 days. That includes our 2-day online auction and our standard 30-day escrow that we utilize on all our deals. Next is our reach, right? I just mentioned to you that we have a partnership with LoopNet. We're both companies that are owned by CoStar. So LoopNet is our sister company. And based on that relationship, we have the ability to give you advertisement at the diamond status level, which is the highest level of advertisement that you can get on LoopNet for free, right? And what that's going to do is it's going to generate the largest and strongest regional, national, and international pool of buyers for your asset that you're working on. Control, right, is the next piece of our platform, right? We're a very technologically enabled company. We use a lot of data, and we give you access to all of that technology and data as you're working to underwrite deals, as you're working to prospect and speak with contacts, right? We have a back end on our dashboard, and that I'll give you a visibility to here in just a second to kind of show you the type of control that you have while you're working with your clients on 10X, and also all the information that goes along with their assets, as well as contacts for buyers, as well as due diligence. And then last but not least, this is this is really key for me right now as a former broker, right? Somebody who's still licensed. I've done a number of commercial transactions. For me, what I really find comfort in knowing is that on our platform, certainty is one of the values that we bring to the table. But when you look at the way that we front load our due diligence, when we unpack our process here in a second, you'll see how we handle and orchestrate that front loaded DD. And then as a result of that, how we're able to utilize non-contingent, non-negotiable contracts on all the deals that we trade on our platform, right? And how that lends itself to a certainty of close at about 96% on our platform. You heard that correct. Deals that trade on the 10X platform that go into escrow have a 96% rate of closing once they get into escrow because of the way that we orchestrate that process on the front end. Now, I'll dig into that a little bit more, but here's really kind of what you want to understand really quickly about the 10X advantage from a high level perspective. And you can compare this apples to apples from the traditional, way of brokering deals. If you look at traditionally the 10X sales process versus the traditional sales process, you'll notice that our trade rate on our platform at 58% is about twice that you'll see in the normal market, right? So CoStar data tells us that about right around 30% of the time, the deals are coming to market, first time list to market, first time broker listing that deal and taking it to the market. About 30% of the time, that deal is going to trade, right? On the 10X platform, you immediately double those chances and push it up to just under 60% by bringing a deal onto our platform, getting that visibility, and having your seller's pricing expectations met, right? We spoke about our entire process being a list to close in under 100 days. Believe it or not, that's about 3 times faster than what we're seeing on the traditional market. We're seeing deals that hang on the traditional market somewhere right around 300 to 330 days on average, right? Again, these are first-time deals to market, first-time broker, right? So 10X is a platform that's designed to give you extra horsepower as you're marketing your deal, right? And then send you vetted, approved buyers that are going to be willing to and able to close on your deal. The main thing that I think on this page that is important, because again, I'm not going to hit every one of these points for you. I want to make sure I'm hitting the things that are important for you guys. But I think the fact that due diligence is performed up front is a big deal. We'll talk about that here in a second. But the key piece for me, again, as a former broker, is this: no additional cost, right? We're a part of the CoStar family. I like to say that is not going to charge you any money for the services, right, that you receive. Specifically as a listing agent and broker, you don't pay for the marketing. You don't pay for my team in terms of my operations team, my legal team, my marketing team. All of that to you and to your sellers an additional benefit. We're incentivized in the way that we generate our revenue on our platform are by buyers showing up and buying our deals, right? When buyers show up and buy our deals, we have an associated buyer premium fee schedule that I'll show you here in a second that takes care of our revenue and takes care of our fee. But just understand, for you as a listing agent, for you and your sellers, this platform is not going to cost you any additional money, right? Even as a CoStar owned company. Now, as you look at this page here, this is really just kind of indicative of you guys understanding the types of clients that we work with. We've done upwards of 10,000 transactions on our platform. 10X as an organization, by the way, has been around since 2009. We actually were formerly auction.com before we went under the name 10X. So if you know auction.com, that is our, kind of our humble beginnings as an organization. And then as of 2009, we spun off and focused specifically on commercial real estate transactions, and auctions continues to focus on single family deals. But all that said, right, we've handled deals for all types of clients throughout commercial real estate space, whether they be institutional, right, whether they be banks, corporations that are private groups, or even servicers that handle a lot of distressed debt. We're used to working with all these different types of clients. And the reason that that's important to you guys as brokers is that we don't allow any deals on the 10X platform at this time without it being represented by a broker, right? Whether it comes from an institutional client, whether it comes from a bank, whether it comes from a large private group, or whether it just comes from, John and Sally Doe, who want to sell their properties. We have to align ourselves, and we're keen in understanding that the lifeline for our business is our relationship with brokers and sellers, right? If we don't have assets on our platform, if we don't have inventory, there's not going to be a lot of opportunity for us to make revenue. So with that said, every deal that comes with the 10X has to be aligned with the listing agent and a listing broker, right? So if there's not a deal, right, or I should say it like this, if a seller approaches us 10X and says, hey, listen, I have this deal, I would like to put it on 10X, could you help me out? The first thing I'm going to tell them as a former broker is, yes, we absolutely can do that. We'll take a look at the asset. We can wrap an evaluation around it for you. But we're also going to give you 3 or 4 suggestions on brokers who are in your submarket, who are market experts, who would be able to service this listing for you. And they're aware of our platform. They have some sort of level of experience on our platform. And so it's important for us to make sure that we're building those relationships. We're really leaning into this relationship with KW. Again, Meny and Kim have been great so far. And so we want to continue to make sure that we're including as many KW brokers on that short list of qualified agents as we're sending out deals or as we're sending out referrals to our sellers. Also here of note to mention that as you see this list of brokers that are here, obviously you're going to recognize some very, high key names, but I also want to shout out, some of the names like Paramount Lodging Advisors and Transwestern. These are 2 what I would call smaller boutique brokerages. Paramount specializes on in hospitality assets. And then Transwestern and Paramount, both of those groups are 2 groups that I like to say, again, are kind of boutique and specialty in nature. What I love about those groups is, as you can see here on this tally, they've been able to really harness the power of 10X, understand our platform, and utilize us as they're going in to pitch their clients for listings, right? So they're telling their clients, we can service your listing the traditional way, and we can also service your listing in this curated competitive bid environment that is an auction on 10X, right? And they articulate those values, and it's allowed them to win a lot of business and compete with the Colliers, the Marcus and Millichaps, the Cushman and Wakefields and such. So I want to empower you guys when you leave this conversation. If you haven't done very many, commercial deals, this is going to be the platform that evens the playing field for you. And if you have done a lot of commercial deals, this is going to be a tool in your toolbox that will allow you to go out and give your sellers a different option than the traditional process if and when you see fit. Any questions right now? I'll kind of pause and see. I can't see Kim. I have it closed down. So let me know if we got any questions out there, if you would, please.
Not yet.
Good to go?
Yeah, good to go.
All right. So, hey, really quickly, just kind of, really wanted to double back to, how 10X makes its money, right? So again, we're paid on a buyer premium fee schedule. I'll pull this up for you when we hop here online in a second to give you just a clearer look. But if you see this, and if you kind of squint and take a look here, if you look at it, it's capped at 5% all the way down on a sliding scale to 0.5 point, right? So the larger the deal size, the smaller the fee that's going to come over to 10X. 10X is not a party to your listing agreement. We're not a party to your commission agreement. So whatever you're signing your sellers up on, right? Whatever contracts or points that you're negotiating, those are all for you at that particular point, right? 10X does not need to come in and amend that for you or your seller to work with us. We have a very clear marketing agreement that we will send the seller out if and when we say, hey, look, the deal looks like it's a fit for our platform. Your seller will execute that. It will list you in that agreement as their listing agent, as their listing broker. And then as we work through the process, when we show up with auction date, as buyers are submitting offers into your seller's property to purchase it, right, there's a corresponding percentage, right, commission percentage or fee percentage, I should call it, not a commission, a fee percentage that is due to 10X based on that deal size. So for instance, $0 to $1 million is a 5% fee to 10X. So what that would look like is this: if we got into auction and we had a deal that was at $1 million, that total purchase price would be $1 million plus the $50,000 to 10X. So that total bid would be $1,050,000. When we go into escrow, that would be the total purchase price, and at closing, $50,000 would come over to 10X. from escrow, your seller would net their would net their $1 million. And then whatever fees that they would normally have in a transaction, including your commission fee, would be extracted from that seller portion of the fees, or the seller portion of the statement at escrow. Now, as you look at, buyers on 10X right now, because again, right, if we don't have inventory from sellers and brokers, we have nothing. But at the end of the day, if we don't have buyers showing up, right, we're also dead in the water. What we've been encouraged to kind of see and track over the course of these last 3 years, we can see that on 10X, right, looking at Q1 2020 all the way here to Q4 2022, buyers on the 10X platform are flush with cash. They're showing liquidity, and we've got proof of funds on our site that we've recorded up to a tune of about $42 billion. And that is billion with a B, right? So if you're one of the main pushbacks that you're going to get from your sellers, and maybe even you have it right now as brokers in your mind, is, hey, listen, my deals aren't auction deals, right? I sell multifamily properties that are stabilized, where I sell, last mile delivery industrial that's net leased, or retail that's net leased, whatever the case may be. You may be saying, understand, the buyers that are on our platform are not buyers that are here looking for dog properties, right? We certainly have a way of making a market for those assets, but by and large, this $42 billion of liquidity that's being brought to 10X are being brought to 10X by buyers who are looking at stabilized deals, who are looking at quality assets with quality locations, some sort of a value add component, right? Those are the deals that are really getting the most love. But that said, buyers on our platform, again, are flush with cash. There's a lot of dry powder that's sitting on the sideline, and we're noticing that week in and week out, or I should say bi-weekly, as we hold our auction events. This right here is really the engine under the 10X hood. I'm gonna unpack this, stop sharing for a second, field any questions if we have any, and then wrap up the presentation. But this right here, again, is really the 10X engine, again, that's driving our entire process. So I'll break it down really quickly. What happens is this, right? You're working with a seller, you're pitching a listing, you have a deal you've been working on, you're stagnant, whatever the case may be. You start to think, hey, is this a 10X deal? So maybe you reach out to Julian. You say, hey, Julian, look, I got this deal I'm working on. I got this listing I'm working on. Here's the scenario. The first thing we'll do before we even get going on bringing the deal on or having the seller sign that marketing agreement is we're going to take an opportunity to evaluate the deal independently on our end. So we'll underwrite the deal on our end independently of what you will do to just make sure that we're jiving in the right direction. We're on the same page in regards to what your seller is desiring as their minimum undisclosed reserve, right? So all the deals on the 10X platform that are auction deals have this minimum undisclosed reserve that nobody knows except for the seller, the broker, and 10X as an organization. And that undisclosed reserve is a bottom line safety net number for your seller that they say, hey, listen, based on as is, where is, 30-day sale, right? I know I'm going to have a ton of marketing put into this deal, a lot of eyes looking at it. Based on those parameters and those seller-friendly terms, here's the bottom line value that I will take for this particular asset, right? So my team will take that number. It's informed by your comps. It's informed by your underwriting. We usually need an OM, rent roll, P&L. If it's retail or office, leases would need to be submitted as well. But we'll take that information. We'll deliver it internally to our underwriting asset strategy team. And what they'll do is they'll look at the deal and give us low to high guidance on where they believe we can set an effective reserve for your asset on our platform. It's not the broker opinion of value. It's not an appraisal amount. It's a number saying, hey, listen, in an auction environment, we expect to get the most engaged and active buyer pool in between this range. After the top of that particular range, we expect for numbers and buyers to begin to trail off and potentially begin to check out.
I haven't even been paying attention.
And so
just getting so used to it being cool. Sorry?
The rest of the week is supposed to be.
Hey, Christine, good to talk to you.
She let me see if I can mute her, Julian. Hold on.
No problem. And so I'll go back. So once you deliver that deal, once we get that number that the seller says, hey, here's my bottom line number, right? The next thing that we'll do, again, we'll have that seller execute that marketing agreement I mentioned before. Again, that will list you directly in the agreement as their listing agent, as their fiduciary. So there is a level of protection for whoever the agent is in that particular regard. And then once we have that signed, then we'll move on to what you see as this navy blue banner. And this is called our onboarding phase. This is where we take the traditional process and we flip it right on its head. So rather than waiting to find a buyer who we feel comfortable with, negotiating, signing that LOI or that PSA, then going into escrow and delivering all of our due diligence, what 10X is going to do is we're going to gather all that due diligence from day one, and we're going to put it into our data room and into our data vault, and we're going to begin to fill that room out and build out your listing display page on 10X, which is your assets dedicated web page on 10X. Right. And so the whole point of that is that we want to make sure that we're capturing all the available material due diligence that buyers are going to want to underwrite the property. 10X actually goes a step further on each one of our assets. And for each deal, we order a phase 1 environmental report, and we also order a property condition assessment report on our own dime up front so that we can house that into the data room for all the buyers as well. Now, those two fees usually run about $2,500 a piece. Right. And then as the property moves through this process that you see here, once it trades and closes in escrow, those will be the only fees that 10X ever asks the seller to be recouped on. It's the phase 1 environmental report and that property condition assessment report. Both are, again, about $2,500, $5,000 total. Right. After we put that information into the data room, we'll have you and your seller review the page on 10X, make sure that it looks and feels the way that you would like it to look and feel. We will also have our legal team draft a non-contingent copy of our purchase and sale agreement that will be used after the high bid is announced at auction. Right, we want that in there during this onboarding phase so that buyers, once we go live in asset marketing, they have access to all of those documents. And so once you and your seller say, hey, look, this looks good, we like the way the page looked, then we will go live with that diamond status LoopNet ad that I mentioned before. Again, that's free to you and your seller. That's a value of about $15,000 to $20,000. That's 10X's skin in the game. That's our alignment with you and your seller and making sure that this deal gets premium visibility and ends up trading successfully at auction. Right. We'll also have a whole host of other marketing that goes out just beyond the diamond ad. So we'll have email campaigns that go out, direct mail campaigns that go out. We even have social media campaigns that are deployed. And all of this is the point of all of this in this marketing process is to generate and build the largest pool of buyers that are available and interested in your client's asset. Right. We want to make sure that when they show up at the auction date, we've got hundreds of people who have signed confidentiality agreements. By the way, we average about anywhere from 100 to 120 confidentiality agreements that are signed per asset on our platform. We obviously want to make sure that we're generating and getting the largest pool of approved buyers, right, to show up at the auction. So whenever buyers are coming during the marketing process and they want to access this due diligence information that we've had and we've housed, they need to sign a confidentiality agreement, and we will mandate that. So they'll sign that information, we'll capture that and deliver it to you as a broker. We'll also have your seller have access to it on 10X so you can see who's accessing the information and you can reach out to them and contact them and have discussion with them. But then also before they show up at the auction, if they want to become approved to bid, then they need to take another step and submit to us verifiable liquid proof of funds that our operations team will scrub and vet before we show up at auction here so that we know once we get there that day, everybody who's showing up has the financial capability to close. We don't want any loose stragglers here who are going to show up on auction day and mess up the process for everybody who's been diligent about looking at the due diligence and submitting their proof of funds to become approved. So we'll scrub that. And then once we get here to that 2-day online auction, this is the Super Bowl of events. This is why we've all come together. And so there'll be an opportunity on the second half of the second day, which is where we see the most bidding activity. We'll send you and your seller out a Zoom link like we're all sitting on right now. And then we'll all be engaged in that second half of the second day on the auction, watching the offers as they come in. As we see those bids coming in, high bid, hitting reserve, exceeding reserve is our goal. There's 2 more checks and balances that are in place that allows us to achieve that 96% closing rate that I spoke about before. And they are this. 1, within 2 hours of being announced as a high bidder on our platform, the buyer must execute our non-contingent, non-negotiable PSA. And again, remember, that's been in our data room since the beginning of our onboarding phase. So when those buyers are looking at all that DD information, they're aware of it. There's not much gray area there in terms of what's expected on their behalf. And then after executing that PSA, within 24 hours of signing that document, buyer needs to wire into escrow earnest money deposit in the amount of 10% that is non-refundable from day one. So when we open escrow, we have non-contingent, non-negotiable PSA, and we also have hard money in escrow from day one. Our contracts and closing team, which is in our legal department, They will step in. They'll be your counterpart to kind of usher you and walk you through that entire process if any amendments or addendum are needed from that particular point. That is the entire 10X process, the engine under the hood in a nutshell. I will stop sharing and just let me pause quickly as I see my partner here, Tunch Aiken, he's on the phone. Let me stop and pause and see, are there any questions in regards to that?
And thank you, Julian. So we have 2 more minutes before we're going to give it to Dan O'Connell with the Analyst Pro. But I saw T as well on the call too. So say hi to everybody.
Hey, yeah. Hey guys, Tunch Aiken. Nice to see you, some familiar faces on this call. Just like, look, Julian did an amazing job explaining the process of 10X. At the end of the day, we are a broker tool. Okay, we want to partner up with you guys. We are list to close in less than 100 days, or as is, where is, all cash transactions, no contingency. No cost to you or to your client. We're going to generate a lot of leads for you guys. We have an omni-channel approach, aggressive marketing, 22 different channels. Let us go to work for you. Let us create some leads for you. Let us send them to your way for you to do what you do the best. Close the deal. That's it. Thank you, Meny.
Yeah, Julian, awesome presentation. And then Julian dropped his information on the chat. So please copy that, reach out to him directly. We're going to have you once again, Julian. And by the way, are you part of the bid, because you speak like you're from Texas and like, auction style and,
I'm working on my, gotta get it out, I'm working on it. We have guys and girls that have done that way longer than me, and they sound much better. But yes, please, Tunch, just so everyone knows, Tunch and I work hand in hand. We give this KW account the white glove service. We've already worked with a number of your agents, including David Yashar and his group over in the Beverly Hills office. So Tunch, if you have a chance, please drop your information in there as well. I will circulate this deck out to Kim and Meny so that you can get it out to the rest of your group. And I will also include some case studies from our group that, just kind of gives you an idea of some more of our results. But we're looking forward to sticking with you guys and doing a lot of business with your group this year.
Julian, I have a quick question for you. You mentioned that you can refer, some of the deals that come in looking for other commercial brokers. How would commercial brokers, do they register for these leads, or is it just the people you're connected with?
Great question, Kim. So first things first, right? To get visibility and to get the highest visibility with Tunch and I, what I would say is take our name and number and our email, send us an email, say, hey, listen, I was at the demo. I just want to follow up and have a quick personal touch point with you. That's the first way. Tunch and I will follow up with those particular agents. We'll have a conversation and understanding their background, their expertise, their submarket expertise and such. And then we're building out, we're steadily right now building out that short list. But I'll tell you, listen, bring us some opportunities, bring us some deals. Those are usually going to be the guys and the girls who get that reciprocated on the highest level first. But we're leaning into KW, so reach out to us. We're building that relationship with you guys right now.
Thank you so much, guys. And again, also shout out to David Yashar for the introduction with Tunch and Julian and 10X. Guys, we're going to have you more on our next sessions for sure. Awesome. Brilliant presentation, and I'm excited to learn more about that for sure. So next we have Dan O'Connell with the Analyst Pro. And Dan, if you can unmute yourself, and a shout out to Gabriel Guerrero, who made that introduction. He's working with those guys for on a few projects, and this is Dan and I did the whole presentation. I did ask Dan to kind of minimize his presentation, just kind of to again have more of an easier digest for you guys. It's such a brilliant tool. And again, Dan, again, apologies for making it very hard for you, because you left brain and you like to dive in and really like explain every process, which is brilliant. It just shows how good you are, guys, on the back end to support the product. But I'm very excited for all of you guys to see what it is if you're right now watching us on the recordings, because whatever asset, right, that you use, whatever niche, I think those guys covering. So Dan, present yourself and talk about, take it from here. I'm going to give you enough time.
Thank you, Meny. Dan O'Connell with the Analyst Pro. What we are is an analysis software and also marketing. Okay, so what we will help you do is if you have, you're working on a listing and it's either for somebody, an investor who wants to buy or sell, or maybe it's a lease, a tenant or a landlord looking for space or space that he wants to fill. We are going to help you do the analysis on that, which is going to be ultimately, your internal rate of return, what's the debt coverage ratios, what are all the particular ratios that are involved. And once we do the analysis, that becomes like the backbone to our overall package, so that you'll have an offering memorandum or a listing proposal, and you'll be able to dazzle them with that. So I'm thinking, because of we're limited on time, I'm gonna show you quickly first a sample of what the final product looks like, and I'm going to share my screen here. So this is kind of our home page. And so to give you an idea, let's say somebody calls you and they say, hey, look, I've got, I want to sell some apartments. What can you do for me? And what I'm going to do is show you what the final package looks like. And then I'm going to show you how we put these packages together in literally minutes. It doesn't take all afternoon or a couple days. You can actually do it in minutes. So let me do this. I'm going to go to my marketing tools. These are some of our different tabs across the top, and addressing apartments. So this is one of our presentation formats. Once you have a client and he's saying, look, I want you to list these apartments for me. And maybe he gives you his income and expense information, and maybe he doesn't. He says, I'm going to talk to a number of brokers, but yeah, he goes, I'll give you let's meet first and I'll give you the income and expense later. Well, you don't have to have the income and expense to put together a fantastic offering or listing proposal like this. This is a flip book. And you can put in your, I have here an analysis in here as if I did get the income and expense, but if you didn't, you don't need to include it. You can show them, look, we're going to show you what the demographics are in your area. We're going to show you what the location risk, the flood, the crime, the environmental. We're going to have aerial maps annotated. We're going to have sale comps. Now, we don't provide the sale comps, but we give you a place to put them. You'll get those from Julian at CoStar or 10X. This is the analysis portion, and I literally put this together in minutes and did all this analysis, this 5-year after tax or before tax cash flow analysis. Then it's got a breakdown on the unit matrix, how many 1 bedrooms, how many 2 bedrooms, what the square foot price per square foot we're paying, your sale proceeds before and after tax. Okay, very key, very important. This is all very simple. Literally, I put all this together in minutes, and I'm going to show you that if we have enough time. And then we use a lot of infographics, because sometimes people, they might get a little mesmerized by all the numbers, depending on what kind of client you're dealing with and what their level of sophistication is. So we use these infographics. So you can see your cash on cash dividend return before and after tax. What is the optimal holding period on this investment with your internal rate of return? What is the equity multiple? How does that work? And each one of these, we call these key performance indicators, KPIs. Each one of these, we have if you're not familiar with some of these, that's fine, because we have a tutorial that goes exactly through each one of these and what they mean. And you'll be able to decide which ones you would want to use with your particular client, and you'll understand and know what they're for. This is a great little tool here. This shows you, okay, the property is listed at 6.5. What if they can buy it for less? And you can adjust these. So I have 5 or 10% less. What if you have to pay more? What if there's a lot of offers on the table? And how much higher is your client going to be willing to go and still get the kind of return that he's going to be happy with? That's what this price acquisition sensitivity analysis does. And this one is for the disposition. It's for the sale. So I'm giving you, this is kind of quick. And this is the demographics. So I set this up here. Here's our subject property, and in a 15-minute drive from the property in any direction, this is how that's outlined. What are the demographics? We have key facts dealing with education, business, employment, community profile, your market summary, and also your population trends. This is another one of our, this is a premium demographic. These give you additional information. You know, if your subject property is going to be located in a spot right there, it's surrounded by these different colors and numbers, like you got a 1C, a 1D seems to be, and you go over here and you look at these. Well, what is 1D? You'll click on that and it's going to give you a bigger little expose of what kind of demographic that is and who it is, who you're reaching out to there. And this flip book, once you make this, you can email it to any of your clients. You can put it on a dedicated website. Every time you put a property into the Analyst Pro, you have the option to create a dedicated website to that particular property. That was your FBI statistics for crime, property crime, personal crime. If anybody's doing industrial properties, this is a environmental report. We'll pull up to 25 reports within, this is a quarter-mile ring where you see the red ring, and the yellow ring is a half-mile ring. We'll pull up to 25 federal, state, and county reports. And then you're going to have, you know, itemized information on each one of those. These are all linked to additional information. If I click on that, it's going to take us to some additional information. We actually have some people who subscribe to the Analyst Pro just for our environmental report. And then you've got your location area maps. The comps, the sale comps, we don't provide comps. You get those again from CoStar, we give you a place in your offering memorandum to put them though. So you can see all these comps here. Those are added by me in a couple of minutes. This is the annotated map where you can show, in this particular project, a developer was going to build 60 apartment units, and he wanted to know, okay, when it's stabilized, what's it going to be worth? And so that's what the object was here. And there's some more of the comps, a little bit more condensed look. And then you can add, you can have team members, as long as that other team member is also a subscriber to the Analyst Pro. Each subscription is for one individual, but you can add up team members up to 3. I've got 2 here. I can add actually 1 more. You can have these team members if they are also subscribers. So that quickly gives you a rundown on the package is also available in a PDF, and the PDF is the same content as the flip book that we just looked at, except you scroll down. And the great thing about the Analyst Pro is that usually when you put together an OM or maybe even a listing proposal, it can take you a lot of time. You can spend all afternoon or maybe a day or more, but we've solved that problem. You can actually do it in minutes, and it all starts out pretty easily. How are we doing on time, Manny? Do I have time?
Yeah. Keep going. You're doing a good job.
Okay, so let's look at how would, you know, we did all that number crunching, and what we did is we took the best features of Argus, which is a software. You may have heard of it. It's a high-end, like the Wall Street guys, a lot of the REITs use it to analyze commercial real estate, but it's very expensive. It's like $5,000 a seat. I had a license in that for a couple of years, and it's very complicated, takes a lot of training. So we originally, Analyst Pro was invented because the man who invented it, Todd Coleman, he is a CCIM instructor. You're probably familiar with CCIM. Todd was 12 years ago also the CCIM Tech VP, and they had a software platform available for members to use, but nobody was using it. And every time he asked, how come you guys aren't using it? It was always, it's too complicated. It's not easy. It's not, and you know, one thing or another. And so he set out to take some of the best features of Argus, which is a high end, very expensive, and Excel. Excel is a great tool, but it's for presentation, it's kind of cumbersome. Okay. And it's prone to errors. Excel doesn't make errors, but it's easy to put the formulas in incorrectly. And so he wanted to combine the features, the best features of both those, and make it fast and easy. So that's what we did. And I'm going to show you quickly. Let's say you've got an analysis that we're going to put together. Maybe somebody wants to list some properties. Or maybe you want to show some properties, you know, to somebody else. Maybe you don't have the listing, but you got a client that says, hey, I want to buy some apartments. You can actually, you know, when you, if you've got other brokers that have their OMs in the public domain, you can actually just take their information, put it right in here into the Analyst Pro, and it's all going to be branded with your name and your logo so that you can show it to your client. Now, here's how we start this. If you're going to do an analysis, we're going to look at some apartments. You know, we've got a 60-unit apartment project. We want to analyze it, and we want to put an OM together. So you're going to first name it. New analysis, you're going to name it, and you're going to put it in a folder. Real simple. You can do one of our existing folders, or you can create a new folder. Either way, it doesn't matter. And then you click create the new investment analysis. And when you do that, we're going to open up, and I'm going to show you one I've already created. This would open up, and you're going to have, this page would be blank. I have it filled in because I already did this one, but wherever you see a red asterisk, that's required you fill that box in. So we've got a name, I've got a purchase price. Hey, maybe somebody said, hey, I need a broker opinion of value. Well, you can use this to do that. If you know what the cap rates are in your area, you're just going to put in a cap rate here instead, and then put in their income and expense. The address, I have that in now. You don't have to have that at this moment, but I do have it there. And then I got a 60 units. What if it was an office building? What if it was an industrial building? I'd switch this to square feet. Real simple. Put in a purchase date, which is also the start of the analysis, and you hit continue. And what we're doing here is we're working our way down this list on the left. Now we're on income. Do I know what the income is? Maybe he gave you their Schedule E to on their tax return for this property, and you see what the total income is. You can put that in here. But I chose to do the or. You have an either or situation. I wanted to put in the actual unit mix. So we've got a unit matrix. So I've got 20 units of a 1-bedroom, 20 of a 2-bedroom, 20 of a 3-bedroom, different sizes, different monthly rents. You can add as many variations of units as whatever variety you have, and you can add unlimited amount there. So we're going to hit saved. And then what about some other income? Maybe there's some laundry money that comes in on that property. You can put that in there too, maybe special parking, whatever. You total that up, put it in there, and then you can hit continue. And then we're going to put in some vacancy. This apartment, I'm looking at it as if it's 100% leased, but the vacancy, you know, the banks are going to want to see that. If you're going to finance this, they're going to put at least 5% in. So we'll do that. And then I can put in the total annual income and put in the increase and customize that too by year if I want to. But down below instead, what I did is I put in some line items, and I'm going to actually simplify this because we're kind of short on time. So I'm just going to use the top one. I'm going to put in the total, and here, see, you can put in a % of your gross operating income or total dollar amount for the expenses. I'm just going to use 40%. And then the other option is you can do the line item expenses if you want to do those. And by the way, if you do get somebody Schedule E and they have an expense on that schedule that you don't see on our list here, no big deal. You can go right in and change that, rename it, and then just hit save it. So it's real simple. And every time you put an expense in here, that green check mark that was there and went away, that will appear here. So I've got my expenses in. Now, what about maybe on this property, this investment, they're looking at an overall return, but when they looked at it, they say, hey, that roof needs to be redone in 2 years probably, and that blacktop should be repaved and restriped. You can put annual capital expenses and reserves in right here. Boom, you go with that, and then you hit continue. And the important thing also to notice, as you're using the Analyst Pro, as you go along, each step along the way, you've got help buttons. And if you got a question, you go, wait a minute, how was I doing this again? You're going to hit that help button. And we're going to bring up a quick little brief tutorial.
This tutorial will review line item expenses.
And it'll guide you step by step through it. Plus on our dashboard, we have 18 different tutorials about an hour long each that are all basically mini CCIM courses. And they're all fantastic commercial real estate topics. And certainly that alone right there is worth the price of our Analyst Pro. So now we're on to the mortgage. We're working our way down the list. We've got maybe somebody's going to assume a mortgage. You don't see that often nowadays, but if it happens, you can do it. You can handle it. Maybe it's going to be a 70% LTV, or you can put an actual dollar amount, whatever percent LTV you've got. What is your interest rate? Is there an interest only period? You can go, 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. You can do that right here. What if there's what is the loan amortization? 25 due in 10. Got some loan points and fees. How do the interest calculation, how does that work? And usually they use 3360. One of these other two is a possibility, but they'll let you know if that's what they want, the lender. And then you can also handle a refinance, in the future. Maybe somebody wants to take some cash out. Also, you can do a second mortgage, answer all the same questions. And then we're going to hit continue. So we're almost ready to generate this report. And you can see this is all going pretty quickly. So we've got a 7.5% cap rate as the exit price for when the property is sold. Okay, I can do a 5-year analysis, which analyzes all 5 years, or a 10-year analysis, which analyzes all 10. Now, when I put a 7.5% cap rate in here for that sale price in the future, it's going to use that 7.5 for each one of the years of the analysis. But maybe your cap rates are going up, or maybe they're going down, and you can adjust those. So you can customize it, and if they're going up or down, you can do that. And then we're going to move on to the final report. We do have one language option. We can do reports in Spanish. And then we have a bunch of what we call KPIs, key performance indicators. And these, again, are going to depend on how many of these you would use, are going to depend on the level of sophistication of your client and how many you feel they are going to want to see. Because these are all do a deep analysis of each one of the projects that you put into the Analyst Pro. And again, we have a tutorial that goes through each one of these and explains in detail what they are and how they work, and make you comfortable explaining it to your client if you need to. So I'm gonna quickly hit, we'll look at a 5-year after tax report. And I'm going to generate that report. It takes a minute or two to generate that. And do I have any questions in the meantime?
Don't see anything on the chat. Feel free to unmute yourself if you have any questions, or type in your questions. Thank you. Well, while it's spinning, Dan, Do you want me to just briefly touch costs, etc.?
Yes, okay. So our annual subscription that we sell this at all day long is $599.99. Okay, and that's for the whole year. Some people, I say that because some people ask us, well, is that the monthly price? No, it's for the whole year. That gives you full access. That allows you to use the analysis. It allows you to use all the demographics, all the location risk. You get to use everything. But right now we are, and again, right here, as you look at this, everything is branded with your logo and your contact information as a subscriber. But right now, through the end of this month, we are running a promotional, and that for people who sign up now, we can do it 20% off. That will be good through the end of this month. And we also currently have, if you have from your same office or same group, if you have 3 people or more that sign up at the same time, it does have to be at the same time, we will actually do an even better price. We will do $399.99, so just under $400 a year for full access. And if you come in at either one of those promotional prices, that's what it renews at also. That's your renewal price. So here again, you see the cash flow analysis. It gives you details on your initial investment, what you paid for it, what the acquisition costs were, your first mortgage, how much out of pocket to close the escrow, and all your loan information. And then it works its way down through all your income and expenses, all the way down to your cash flow before and after taxes. Then the breakdown of the per unit mix, how much are they paying a square foot, total monthly income, total square feet size, all your unit matrix, initial monthly rate per square foot, sale proceeds. So here's that 7.5% cap rate I put in. It used it for each year, and you can customize that. So if the cap rates are going up or if they're going down, and then it's going to show you what your sale proceeds before and after tax are. Some performance metrics, like your loan to value, what is that? Your debt coverage ratios, your equity before tax return on before and after tax, your cash on cash before and after tax, and all the way down to your internal rate of return before and after tax. And then some infographics, the cash on cash dividend return, what we call equity multiple. This is a great little tool. This basically tells you, when do you get your investment back and how much? Your cash investment to close escrow. Optimal holding period for the internal rate of return. Debt coverage ratios, loan to values, debt yield ratios. And again, these KPIs, you use as many as you, feel like you need to for the particular client. So that kind of gives us a rundown on the analysis. And then I showed you what the finished products look like. Any questions at all, or?
Any questions, anybody? I mean, again, this is a extremely powerful tool when it comes to build the back end of the OM or BOV, etc. In a sense of like step by step, right? Easy access to such tool. And once again, I had the pleasure to be introduced to Dan by Gabriel Guerrero, who was they're heavily focusing on institutional assets, right? But that can be used to any class, as you could see. And Dan, if you don't mind, type on the chat the best way to reach out to you.
Yes.
Your name, email, if there's a phone number, so our agents can reach out directly. Okay, let me see if there's any other questions. And we are periodically, repeating the presentation, etc. of several affiliates, etc. Based on demand. So we're definitely going to have Dan once again coming back and do another step by step, maybe more by demand. If you guys want Dan to show like, hey, let's do that producer report for specific class asset or what have you, let us know, and he'd be gladly do that, because it's just so easy to go through that process and show sample reports.
This is our homepage, and on the homepage you see down below here, these are our tutorials. These are basically mini CCIM courses. Every one of these are fantastic. CRM investment modeling, KPIs and sensitivity analysis with the Analyst Pro, infographic or demographic analysis in commercial real estate marketing, best practices by CRE Tech. You highlight one of these. This is a great one. Power of positive leverage. How does that work? What is it? What does it do?
Welcome everyone to today's training session, the power of positive leverage.
These are all fantastic tutorials. We have them right here. So they're available 24/7 on your homepage. So
yeah, sorry, Dan, just to piggyback, just the also amount of those mini webinars, if you may, are priceless.
Yes.
And I do. I mean, we are discussing on some kind of a discount to our members, more of a kind of for the credible commercial SoCal team. So you're gonna have even more of an easier annual cost for that. I mean, the cost as is right now is $600. It's a no-brainer. It depends on other things that we pay for. So the mix of the education. That's the value that I see, and I guess others that from our group that utilizing that between those webinars, if it's for themselves or for newer agents and their teams, or whoever doesn't really understand some of the elements, the different classes or niches in the business, that's valuable. And of course, the ease of producing such analytical reports.
Yes. And I will add, we do have the promotional going through the end of the month, the 20% off. And if you do 3 people or more, that's $399, and that's full access, and it renews at that particular price.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I hope it was kind of, it was a little because we had such a short amount of time, but yeah, I'd be happy to come back anytime, Meny, if you wanted to see more and go over any other, because we can definitely, what we looked at today was the apartments, but we also have, okay, what if you're going to do a multi-tenant office or retail or industrial? Well, we can enter each particular lease also. So all the details of each lease can be entered in, and then you're going to be dealing with other issues like, well, when do they roll over? When does it expire? And then who's going to take their place? And all these other kind of really advanced features, but we've got it very simple and very easy to use.
And that's what we're going to do in a follow-up session again to show more use of those amazing tools. Dan with Analyst Pro, thank you so much, my friend.
All right, thank you. You guys have a great day.
All right, thanks everybody for being here and watching us. And we're going to hear more from Dan and from Julian, from T with 10X, the T of the 10X, right? So you should get some royalties on that.
That's right, Meny.
All right, everybody. Kim, thank you. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you soon. Appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a great afternoon.